Hello, my name is Nick Hulme. I'm Chief Executive of Ipswich and Colchester Hospital. Colchester Hospital had one of the worst performing A&E departments in the country. We were consistently delivering way below the 95% standard, and we had to do something, and we had to do something quickly in order to make sure our patients were safe. So for me that was the challenge. How do we get staff to be concerned, to be bothered, to understand the importance to the people that we serve, to our patients, about 4 hours. I've worked up and down A&E departments up and down the country for many years now, and it's very clear to me that if you start to talk about how we value patients' time and staff time, we start to think differently about the 4-hour standard. And the most important thing is to see it as that, is to see it as a standard, to see it as a quality standard and not as a mark of efficiency or productivity or a target. I met with a family whose daughter died, called Ivy, and although the end of life experience wasn't great, which is why I was meeting with the family, the letter started with the fact that their mother Ivy had been lying on the kitchen floor in pain and in her own urine for 9 hours. I had assumed that she hadn't been found for 9 hours, but I was wrong. The family had sat with her for 9 hours because they were waiting for an ambulance to attend. So what we did was use that story, and we talked about Project Ivy. And the message right across the organisation was, how do we get Ivy off the floor? Recognising that the 4-hour quality standard is not solely within the gift of A&E. A huge amount of it is around systems, processes and attitude in our ED departments. But it's also about, as we know, the whole process both in and outside the hospital. Reducing those patients who are admitted who don't need to be there, reducing the length of stay, looking at the times that people are discharged during the day so we don't get that high admission rate and low discharge rate in the middle of the morning. So the whole organisation started to talk about, let's get Ivy off the floor. We put pictures of Ivy up in our wards. We used Ivy at our bed meetings. Bed meetings might start with, there were a lot of Ivies left on the floor last night. So we changed the conversation away from how many breaches did we have to how many Ivies were left on the floor. That changed the attitude of our clinicians, it changed the attitude of our managers. For many, many years I've never gone into an A&E department and said, how many breaches have you had? The first question I ask is, who's your sickest patient and are they safe? We have to change the conversation from it's about targets and about numbers to it's about time and it's about people. It's about the quality of the experience. It's about a quality standard and not a government target. So what's the effect been? The effect has been, as well as looking at systems and processes and individuals, we've seen Colchester A&E department go from one of the worst performing A&E departments in the country to one of the best. And we are consistently in the top 10 of departments across the country. And people still talk about Ivy. If we have a bad day, Ivy is referred to. So the question, the challenge is, how do we work with our clinical teams who come in every day committed to provide the highest quality of care to the people they serve? How do we work with them to change that debate from one that's about numbers and about breaches and about targets to one that's about patients and time and the quality of the patient experience?